All right, folks. Today is all about gratitude, and I'm going to do my top, I think it turned out to 17, my top 17 boots that I'm grateful for, and we're just going to go fast because that's 17 boots, and I don't want this video to be long. But a big theme that's come up on this channel is gratitude. Gratitude for the boots you have. You know, I think in some ways I'd rather have one or two pair of boots and be grateful for them than have 50 and always be wanting more. And I find myself somewhere stuck in the middle, but I'm trying to be a bit more to the just be grateful for the boots you have. And that should be, as we get into new boot makers and appreciate beautiful boots, that should be first and foremost. All right, I am grateful for the top 17. I'm going to go number one, from number 17 to number one. It's not like I'm that much less grateful for this one, but I don't know. It's a bit of a random list, but also a bit more of like the boots that mean most to me, I guess. But there's boots I'm forgetting too. Like I have a pair of Russells that I can't find, but I am grateful for them. All right, here we go. These are Red Wing Iron Rangers in the waxed mule skinner leather with a Wyatt and Dad out of North Carolina resole. And I've only had these boots with the resole, so they came like that. I got them on Poshmark used, and they just look so goddamn good. And I'm so grateful for them. They're so unique. They're kind of rare, and they're a special boot. Okay, next boot I'm grateful for, another green and brown. These are the Easy Mock Rangeley boots. Grateful for these. Got these from Domestic out of, I want to say, Arkansas. But just an incredible makeup and, just a oily leather. I love them. All right, this is a controversial one, but we got to do it. My freaking Blundstones. I got to do a video on these, but, I own Vibergs. I own all kinds of amazing boots. But these are the best boots to just have near the door. They slip on so easily. They're so light. They're just a very, very utilitarian boot. And if they are non-resolable. They're the only non-resolable boot I own, but I am grateful for them because they've served me well and they keep serving me well. And they're not a bad-looking boot. They're actually quite a good-looking boot in my opinion. If I just throw on an outfit and I throw these on, I feel like I'm actually dressed. All right, another slip-on, another comfort promoted one. These are another Easy Mock. These are their, I don't even know what they're called. They're shearling boot. This was a collaboration with Engineered Garments, but they are shearling lined, and they're just comfy as hell. They're not the most handsome boot, but I think they're cool. Hand welted, hand-sewn construction. Not hand welted, hand-sewn construction out of Maine, which is wonderful materials. Really nice suede, and then shearling lined. Okay, another slip-on, and then we're going to get into the real heavy hitters. I'm going to do a video on these, but these are my Jim Green Stockmans. They're my Chelsea boots. I've worn these on the farm. I've worn these through everything. There's manure, there's dirt. Yeah, these are my absolute shit kickers. And, they've just been through hell, and they still look great, and they still clean up well. Like I can clean these up, and they'll look pretty great. Maybe when I do the video on these, I'll do the first half of the video with them kind of looking like this, then clean them up, and then do the second half just to show the difference. Okay, now we've got Viberg. These are my Viberg service boots in taupe Mariam horsebutt. I'm grateful for these just because they satisfy the Viberg itch. I got these used. They were maybe worn once, and they're just they don't fit me perfectly. They're a little bit too small, but they fit. I wear them with thinner socks, and they're just I love the arch support here. I love the craftsmanship, and it's just nice to own a Viberg, and I don't need to own any more. Or at least that's what I'm trying to convince myself. Another dressy boot, but we're trying to get it to look less dressy, is my Jackrabbits Veg Tam boots. Also a Dr. Sol half sole on these. The finishing on these was just stunning. The edge finishing was beautiful. Stitching's great. The leather is fine. It's not incredible, but it's certainly not bad. And I'm excited to see how they age. I'm excited to see how they break in. Okay, now we've got my Field and Stream hunting boots. I love these boots. I did get them on discount from Boyne Harness for the video to cover them, and I just love them. I love the style. I love the kind of old school pheasant hunter, the sophisticated outdoorsman. I dress like that a lot. I wear a lot of 1950s kind of sport coats or hunting coats. I just love that style a lot. So, these really scratch that itch. They're also very, very comfortable. Needed little break in. They are not super waterproof, but I don't mind. I kind of, I don't know. I deal with that. To me, they're just a gorgeous boot. They're again just an old school moccasin hunting boot. Very, very cool. Okay, now we've got Kimosabi. I'm gonna leave some of these in here in the shot. Kimosabi Rios and Mercedes Roper boots. I did a video on these. I kind of want to do another one just to really appreciate them properly. But these are my first kind of Roper boots. Certainly, first Roper cowboy boots. And I'm just grateful for them. I've worn them quite a bit, not a ton, but quite a bit. And they're just super comfortable. They're kind of an easy go-to. They're sort of that perfect balance of slip-on and, but also they really elevate, the way you feel. And they're just built beautifully, very heavy construction, very nice. It's my foray into a Western boot. Okay, these are my old school Chippewas. My boot nerdum, my boot obsession really started with Chippewas, and these are kind of one of the earlier Chippewas I got. Not my first pair; those are long gone. But just unique makeup, an interesting Chippewa branded Vibram sole that again, like so special, really nice pebbled, chocolatey pebbled grain leather, just very, very comfortable, very, very hardy leather. I've maybe conditioned these once or twice, and they just, they're just so chock full of moisture. The stitches are have suffered there, but 360 flatwell, very nice boot from the old school Made in USA Chippewa line. I wish they'd bring them back, but they haven't. Okay, man, I love Yuketen so much. They're kind of like my. They're just my I don't know. They're the most I'm gonna get into like a high end fashion boot, really, in some ways. I don't know. They're just so special. Rose Anvil just covered Yuketen for the first time, and he nailed it. He was like, essentially, the takeaway was you're paying for artistry and craftsmanship, and it's worth it. You're not paying for nothing, but you are paying a lot, and you're not exactly paying for durability. So, and he explains with like a great graph. Just how the line eventually starts to flatten. For each extra $100, are you getting $100 worth more boot? And then in durability and etc. The answer is no. So here, I mean, I just love these. They're a work of art. They feel kind of ancient and very modern. They're kind of new Japanese streetwear, but also vintage. I don't know. They have these gorgeous or Italian, Cortina soles. Just very, very unique. And obviously the star is this just crazy, hairy Italian rough out. The real star, I mean, you got a deerskin tongue, and then the real star is this tooled leather here. And it's hard to capture in the camera, but I mean, look at this, just the pinking. It's like, so it's just true artistry. Yuki, I always mess up his name, Yuki Mosada, I think his name is. He's just awesome. He's a great Instagram follow and just an inspired artisan, really. He's an artist himself. He's just a true artist. All right, DoubleRL. Someone said these are made by Julian. For a while, Julian was making DoubleRL boots. I've never confirmed these. I've not been able to, but they are made in USA, and they are, DoubleRL boondocker boots. And I just love these. Both my grandfathers fought in World War II. They're just a great replica, Munson last, soft toe, this Al Mojave suede from SB Foot. Just a beautiful boot. And I'm just grateful for them. They're pretty damn comfortable. You're kind of just standing on leather, but then the top is like a sock. So it's just an interesting contrast of like heavy duty and super lightweight. But I love wearing them. I always feel good when I wear them. I'm very grateful for them. All right, I don't even know what number we're at. This is gonna have to lift up the camera a little bit more. These are my John Lofgrens, and I've not done a video on these yet. I don't know why, but I just haven't. But these are their Enzo deerskin. This is a deerskin, burgundy deerskin hide, very unique hide. Obviously, just John Lofgren is just a wild makeup, a wild boot. Nice bulbous last. I've got the matching Color 8 color 8 matches this color pretty damn close. Belt, most of my belts, someone asked the other week, most of my belts are from Treetop Goods, David, out of Chicago. He's got a great Etsy shop, and he just makes awesome stuff. So whenever I need a belt, I'm like, oh, I got this color boot. Do you have anything to match it? He's always really, he's come in handy. That's a best made belt. But yeah, for the most part, my belts are from Treetop Goods. John Lofgren, obviously these boots deserve their own video. I don't wear these a ton. These are my only pair of engineer boots, and I don't wear them a lot, but I don't think I want to get rid of them because they're special and they're my only pair of engineers. I do wear them at special occasions. I've gone through phases where I wear them twice a week, or more, but it's been a while, but I am very grateful for them. It's a high-end item. It's just freaking luxurious. So I'm super, super duper grateful for them. Okay, let me just move this. All right. What else? We've got a pair of Truman boots. Okay. I think I'm going to do a video soon about how I'm getting rid of my other pair of Trumans, but sorry I didn't lace these up. But I just love these. They're super comfortable, waxy Commander suede. And again, a lot of this comes down to what boot do you actually reach for? Which boots speak to you? Which boots feel like you? I remember when I got these, my girlfriend was like, if this is you, if you're a boot, I mean, this is so you. And she's right. It just feels like me. So there's something to that. This was a sample. I think this is still from their Colorado days. So just a unique makeup that they'll never make again. Also from a time when simpler Truman times, maybe. I don't know. Okay, now this is just as crazy as it gets. Sorry I didn't lace these up either, but these are my whites drifters in what's it called? What's it called? Blood core leather from Seidel via Rose Anvil. This is a Rose Anvil makeup. What I love about this boot is it's not just like he didn't just throw his name on any boot. He literally came up with the idea of the boot of mixing a Packer and then a bit more of like a, I don't want to say traditional PNW boot because a Packer is, but basically mixing parts of a Packer and parts of a smoke jumper. And then he also came up with the leather idea, so it's their leather, Weston from Rose Anvil. So it's just like to me, a really beautiful vision of someone, a manifestation of someone appreciating a whites boot. Now, if you really think about it, if it weren't for him, would you ever have a pair of whites that looked like this? And the answer is absolutely not. Okay, now we're going to stay on the whites train. And sorry, another boot that I didn't lace up for this, but I should have. Oh, man, these are my Bounty Hunters via whites, via Bakers in Cinnamon Chrome XL, and they're just breaking in so nicely. They're made to my measurements. Made to my specifications. They're custom made, and Bakers just took such goddamn good care. and I'm just super grateful. I'm really, really grateful for these boots. I love them. Sorry, the lighting is kind of tough to deal with here, but I hope it looks okay in camera. All right, and now my number one boot that I am most grateful for, and I've not done a video on these yet, so this is the first you'll be seeing of them, but certainly not the last. I've wanted these boots for so long, and I lusted after these boots, and they would kind of go on sale, but they're still so expensive, and there was maybe one size in stock, and I thought it was my size, but I couldn't pull the trigger, and then finally, towards the end, I was like, I've been looking at these boots for 2 years, I just have to get them, and I got one size up, and thank God I did, because they're shearling lined, and they fit me perfect. These are my George Cleverly mountain boots. These are George Cleverly's, and they are a whole cut. These boots are insane. They're whole cut, shearling lined. Not sure if you can see that beautiful brown shearling lined. Vibram Montagna sole. These are built on traditional. It's based on traditional cross-country ski boots, traditional mountaineering boots. And they have so much allure, so much history, so much heritage, an incredible Norwegian storm welt, 360 degrees. And again, these are made, not again, we haven't talked about it in this video, but I've talked about George Cleverly in other videos. These are made by like a British dress shoemaker that's literally like making shoes for the king or the queen of England or whatever. You know, George Cleverly is a bespoke British shoemaker, and here they're making outdoorsman boots. And they do, it's so wild. They do outdoorsman boots so well. I really wish they would like, I don't know, have another sub brand where they only do this, because I have two of their mountaineering kind of outdoorsy boots, but they have other makeups that are gorgeous and stunning. These are my ultimate boots, though. They're my favorite. They're just my favorite boots. I love wearing them. They feel elevated and just super rugged. It's not the thickest leather, and there's still, you could tell they're like a dress shoemaker. And there's just like a dainty double row stitch right there. Even the backstay is like, well, let's elongate a dress shoe backstay. It's like, but they are still super duper rugged. I mean, that welt is just tough as nails, obviously on the Vibram sole, and there's that squared off toe that's made for traditional skis, cross country skis. The collar on top is really, really nice. It's got a little bit of foam in there, but it doesn't feel like one of those tough foam collars. And the real star is just this incredible leather. They don't say anything about the leather. This was a Mr. Porter exclusive. I imagine it's a calfskin, just judging from it, but I don't know. And you could see the pigment gets like scratched off pretty easily over top over here. I don't mind. It's not, I'm not trying to keep these perfectly. Keep these perfect. They are in some ways almost my ultimate hunting boot, but I won't actually go hunting with these. They're just too nice. So I got I have Chippewas that are kind of similar to these that I did a video on, the Chippewa Arctic boots. These are my number one favorite boots. I'm just so grateful for them, and yeah, they're just I love them. They're also kind of, if I was a boot, they just feel perfectly like me. And there's something about on your boot journey, you're gonna find lots of boots that other people love, that are people's favorites, but that just aren't you, and you need to be in touch. You're the only person that can be in touch with that voice. That's really the best kind of advice I've ever been given, or I can ever give, is like, get the boots that feel like you. And it doesn't matter if they're just a Clark's Desert boot or an Urban Wolf Club boot, or like a cheaper Mexican boot. Go for it. You see a pair of unmarked. Now here's the thing, you're always going to see a little bit of yourself in beautiful boots, because we all love beauty and we all love artistry. So there's something to that of, also appreciating boots from afar. I mean, I guess, I have one pair of Vibergs, but like for the most part, I'm just going to watch Vibergs from afar. I can't afford to have so many Vibergs. I don't want to have so many Vibergs. I'm more of a whites guy, but I love, it's really cool to see what they're doing. It's really cool to see what they've done in the past, so there's something to that. Appreciate the boots you have ultimately. If you have one pair of boots and you love them, you are truly richer than anyone else, than me if I have 20 boots and I don't appreciate them, or I'm ungrateful, or I have this pit in my stomach of wanting more, of consumerism, of emptiness, and so that is the ultimate thing about gratitude, is just really appreciating. If you have a pair of Jim Greens, there's a pair of Jim Greens that are on sale for $100 right now. Get that pair of boots, let them last you for 5-10 years. I mean, there's something to that. If anything, I'm kind of a bigger fan of that than where I'm stuck, which is having all these boots. But I'm also very grateful, and that's what this video is about. I've been watching Mrs. Maisel lately, so I feel like, anyway, I'm Mrs. Maisel. Good night. That's what I feel like ending this video. Thank you so much for watching.